Welcome back to another episode of Thoughts on Thoughts. I am your host, Cruz, and thank you for joining us again. Today we have a special guest. This is my buddy Brandon. What's up, Brandon?
Hey guys, thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Excited to be on.
Our topic is music today, and I mean, out of everybody that we could have possibly had on here, like, it was easy choice, bud.
Well, thanks for thinking of me.
Of course, yeah. So
appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
also here is
it's our producer Jaime behind the scenes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
He doesn't like to be on camera. He's shy.
Not at all.
I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that or not.
No, it's whatever.
You're good.
He wants a little bit of that limelight too. Not necessarily the spotlight.
I saw it in his eyes. So I went for it.
It's here.
But seriously though, without him, we wouldn't even have a show. So thank you, Jaime, for producing and being awesome behind the screens there.
I love it. Give me more love. That's what I want.
I mean, that's all the love you get. The real love goes to our guests, though. And every single episode that we have a special guest. Today is you. It's all about you. We want your opinion, everything you got about this. Stakes are high. Weights on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, I feel flattered.
Palms are sweaty.
Now I'm getting a little nervous. But
Mom's spaghetti.
I'll do my best.
Awesome, man. So thoughts on music today is our theme for this episode, and the best way to start it is what got you into music?
Well, music is just awesome. It's rad. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I didn't come from a musical background. Oh, that's kind of a lie. But my dad's side of the family, they're all very musical, but I wasn't very close to them. And so growing up with my mom and my mom's family, music was just something my mom, she'd throw on. We never played music. She never sang or anything like that. So, my music influence didn't really start until I was in the 5th grade. I started a new school, and the music teacher there was he was cool. Anytime I had music class, he was just very animated, and I could just see his passion for it in there. And it kind of made me oh, wow, if he's enjoying it that much, maybe I could enjoy it that much too. And he started a violin class, and I joined it, and I just fell in love with it. Even though I was terrible at violin, just the idea of being able to play something I could hear on the radio or on a CD, I thought that was cool.
That's awesome.
Talent is just, I don't know what else to say.
I always knew you started with violin, but I never knew how you got to that point. So that's pretty cool because, we met 18 years ago now, roughly.
God, it really hasn't been that long.
It's been about 18 years.
Yeah. Holy cow!
It was the summer after 5th grade, so you must have just started the year before I met you.
Yeah, honestly, that year I started. Yeah, 5th grade. He, I don't even know how he picked me. I think he just saw that I really enjoyed the class. And I was curious because he played violin, and I was curious of how, how'd you get so good and all this and that. And he's like, well, you know what? Why don't you join my violin class after school, and I'll teach you. And I started out that way. And, I didn't stick with it, but
How long did you do violin for?
I played violin, I think, all the way until, 2 or 3 years maybe, because my grandfather passed away, I think, the beginning of 8th grade year. 8th grade or 7th grade, I can't remember. It's a little fuzzy. But he used to want to play a different instrument, and he never got the chance to play. So I wasn't extremely close to him, but I was close, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to learn this instrument in honor of him, kind of. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's cool. Because everything, and it's funny too that you started off with violin, because the very first instrument I ever tried was violin. That was back in elementary school as well. I think it was 3rd grade. I was like, this is cool, and the only thing I ever wanted to learn was Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to play that.
Yeah, that's A tier for difficulty.
Right.
I should also mention too that the school I went to wasn't exactly your standard school, I guess I'll say. but they didn't have like a marching band and they didn't have like an orchestra or a symphony there. They had a mariachi. So, yeah, which is different, you know. And at the time, I didn't really know mariachi. Like, that was the stuff my grandpa would turn on when he got drunk and would listen to, you know. So,
Take a shot.
yeah, pretty much. So I learned a lot about that just doing that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's when we think back on instruments. Like, I always know you as you playing bass, let alone the guitarrón.
Right.
And for any of you guys who don't know what a guitarrón is, it looks like a pregnant guitar. Honestly, like the easiest way for
I always just tell everyone like that asks, because I get asked a lot, is, you know, it's just a big acoustic Mexican bass is what it is. And the shape of it is, it's like a guitar, but the back, it's more of like a turtle shell on the back, so it's like a humpback.
Yeah.
And it's big, and everyone always thinks it's heavy, but it's not. It's hollow, and it's really light to carry. So
That's so cool. I want to know how to make one of those. Like, I got to find a video on somebody making one from scratch, because that'd be so cool to see. But I love the sound of it.
Yeah, maybe I think whenever I retire playing, that's something I want to get into is instrument making. Would be cool, just as a hobby, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. What is some of your influences, like your favorite artist, or I'm assuming mariachi is something that's on your top?
Yeah, so like from kindergarten, or let's just say from like birth to about 7th grade, I listened to whatever my mom really listened to, and my mom was big into like R&B. She listened to a lot of Keith Sweat, Mary J. Blige, stuff like that. So, like, my influence then, really, I didn't have any. I just liked music based off of the melody of a song or even like a beat. And then getting into mariachi, my influence was more, at first I didn't really have any influence because like I said, I only heard a couple songs and I would just recognize them as, oh, that's the song my grandpa listens to, you know. But the more I
Do you
learned,
speak Spanish?
okay, so that's the thing too. I actually don't speak fluent Spanish.
Yeah.
So I've picked up a bit just from like playing music and from people coming up to me, because a lot of times people will ask for like cards or things like that, like, and think I speak Spanish, and like, oh, I you know, and that's the biggest like letdown for me is when someone comes up to me and I have to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't understand you, and then they give you like a look like, you play in a mariachi,
and you're literally saying that entire song in Spanish.
Right, and they're like, they give you this like dumbfounded look. It always made me feel like, like,
dude,
worthless. Like
honestly,
I know the skill and I don't know how to communicate with people that understand it.
Yeah.
But so I don't speak fluently. Even today, I still don't.
Yeah. And off topic, I met somebody who had the last name as I am, and she was like, "You don't look Mexican." I was like, "Well, thanks."
I get that so much.
Yeah.
So much. Even one of my old chefs I used to work for too, he goes, wait, your name doesn't match the way you look.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He goes, I don't mean to disrespect, but where do you come from? What is your blood and your background? And that seems like I get that all the time.
Yeah.
I always have to tell people too that Mexicans always aren't dark. Like, you look at what's his name, Canelo Alvarez, the boxer, who is super light complected and has red hair.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, and he's Mexican as Mexican can be.
That's deep Mexican.
But just to talk about how you said you don't look Mexican. For me, I'd always be like, oh man, I don't look Mexican, and then a random time or a random person would come up to me and start speaking Spanish. And I'm like, oh yeah, I must look Mexican.
Look like it.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite mariachi song? Or
I'm sorry, you'd asked me about my influences.
Oh yeah, you're good.
So I just learned, playing more mariachi music. I just wanted to hear more and more music to learn new songs. So over the years, my influences started to become like not so much the artists that are famous for mariachi music, but the people who played the music for the artist, their background musicians.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
really good point that you bring up, because a lot of people don't know all of the inner workings of even how songwriting, like
Right.
all these different people. Like we just saw Bohemian Rhapsody, the movie about Queen, and there was a scene, and I don't know if you saw the movie or not. Did you see Bohemian?
Yes, yeah.
So there's
Enjoyed
that scene where he was talking about when he left Queen to go do his solo album. He goes, I tell them to do this thing or that thing, and they do it. It's like,
Right.
but it's not the same because I'm not getting that backlash or anything. They're like, yeah, sure, and they'll just do it.
Yeah.
And they do it, but it's just that interaction between him and his bandmates compared to like him and hired people.
Right.
But
Pretty much fans, basically. Like,
basically, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
he's like, oh, we gotta, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, whatever you want. And but I really like key aspects of that. I love the whole movie. Don't get me wrong. I like key aspects of it though because it shows a lot of what musicians put themselves through in making that, trying to get that perfect sound, that perfect melody, that perfect note every single time. Like even when you see them recording Bohemian Rhapsody, higher,
Yeah.
and he just keeps
Yeah.
telling him, he's like, higher, any higher, my balls are gonna be in my
Yeah,
throat.
pretty much. But yeah, like you think of, let's just take an example, Michael Jackson, like "Beat It." I mean, you think of that song as being specifically Michael Jackson, but you don't think about the musicians behind it. And like for a long time, I didn't even know that Eddie Van Halen did the guitar solo for it until I was like a lot older. And we all know how great of a guitarist he is, you know.
Jaime was today years old when he found that out.
Yeah.
Better believe it.
Speaking of Michael Jackson, do you remember where you were when he died?
Yeah, I do actually. I was with you, and we had just graduated high school, and we went to Las Vegas, and we were just getting ready for the day, I think, and your brother Ramsey turned the TV on, and it just happened to say that Michael Jackson passed away.
Right. I thought about that earlier today too, and my favorite memory about that, which is sad because it's still his death, but we were on Fremont Street and they showed all the video on top
Oh, that's
on
right.
the ceiling.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it was so
Yeah.
cool because I keep hearing the song "The Day When Music Died,"
Uh-huh.
and that always reminds me of that because that was a song they played on
Okay.
Fremont Street when they were showing all of his pictures and stuff like that.
I
It was
also
so cool.
remember there was like a street performer as Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And we kind of like looked around like, I wonder if he knows he
Too
passed
soon,
away
man,
today.
too
Yeah,
soon.
kind of like a too soon situation.
That was exactly it.
But yeah, crazy.
She would have been cool to see live. There's a lot of bands and artists that I wish I had the chance to see, either because they retired or because they passed away.
Yeah, no, him, he would have been a great artist to see before, dying or whenever a band disbands. Queen would have been cool before
Definitely.
Freddie Mercury died. I didn't get to see System of a Down before they kind of did their hiatus or whatever they call it
That
now.
was one thing we were talking about earlier today too. We were talking about like favorite concerts or like your most memorable ones, and one of them was System of a Down. I told him, was like, they randomly did a show in Denver, and I'm like, oh my god, let's go, and I was trying to get people to go, and then
Yeah.
everyone backed out. So I went by myself in the rain at an outdoor venue, and it was the freaking coolest concert I've ever been to. I made so many friends. We were just standing in the rain singing System of a Down songs. Like, that was cool. Do you
Yeah.
have a memorable concert or your favorite?
Favorite concert? That's a tough one because like there's a few that I have in mind. I can even give it by genre because I don't know if you've noticed by now, but majority of the music I listen to is mariachi music, but a lot of I do listen to occasionally like metal or hard rock, even like EDM. I listen to a lot of that.
There's a lot of influence from different styles that you can enjoy and like, and not necessarily like, I like all of this style or I like all of this genre, where it's like, no, you know what, that song is cool or that composer is awesome. Or
So it's a little off topic, but when people listen to music, I often believe people hear the lyrics really clear. For me, I don't know if it's just because I'm a musician that doesn't sing, but I don't listen to the lyrics as well. So it's just kind of like a melody for me.
Yeah.
I have a hard time even reciting lyrics back. For me, it's all like the melody in the background. Whenever I hear the song, that's what shines through for me, like the guitar part or even not so much the lyrics, but the melody of the way the singer is singing. So yeah, like my influence is whatever sounds cool to me, like or
Yeah.
as far like, and I know lyrics can be super deep, and people are like, oh, I love that song because these lyrics, they really speak to me. It's like, well, that doesn't account for that. For me, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's the music, that the guy's shredding in the background. That's badass.
Do you not hear that, man?
Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, back on topic. Probably
you're totally
my
fine.
favorite concert. My favorite like non-mariachi concert would probably be the first time I saw like a real rock concert, and that would be Avenged Sevenfold with Bullet for My Valentine and Atreyu.
Oh, was that at the
That was
Fillmore one?
Yes,
Fillmore
I
show?
believe it was Fillmore, but that was on February 29th of 2008, I believe.
Dang, dude, how do you
2007.
remember that day?
I only remember
year.
because it was a leap year. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about the actual year, but excuse me, it was a leap year.
That
And it
was
happened to land on February
Taste of
29th.
Chaos, 2008.
Was that Taste of
Yep,
Chaos?
I
Is
have
that what
that
it's called?
shirt still. It's
Oh,
called
wow.
Rockstar had that big stretch of concerts they used to run, and the first set of it was Taste of Chaos, and then they started the Mayhem
Oh,
Fest.
okay, yeah. They don't do
Taste
that
of-
anymore?
It's
Oh,
all been
man.
canceled.
Oh, wow.
They all stopped. They stopped doing it after a bunch of years. We used to go every year because they used to do the awesome $20, and you would get like 4 tickets or whatever for lawn seats. But
Yeah.
Taste of Chaos was at Fillmore Auditorium. That was that exact same show. I still have that shirt.
Yeah, but I remember it because you, me, your mom, your Uncle Kevin, and Krista Sanchez.
Yeah, that's right.
We were all there. And I just remember being kind of nervous because, like, mosh pits and stuff. For me, I wasn't really into that kind of stuff. It's like, I was like, oh, man, I really don't want to do this. But as soon as you hear, like, a person you listen to on a CD live, you're like, oh, my God, this is amazing. Like, I'm watching him play, and it just blew my mind, and I didn't even think about that anymore. I just had a blast, and I think I probably will have early loss of hearing because of it, but it was worth
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
It
think
was
we were
awesome.
actually in front of those speakers
Yeah.
on the left side of the stage, right? Dang. Yeah, I remember that. Because we had no idea what to expect. I remember my uncle telling us, too, it was, I'm so glad you guys listen to this music. Because he
Yeah.
was so happy. Because he's like, if I had to go to any other concert like this, That's awesome. That one, I remember that one, too. That's when we first started to, like, develop our stances and reactions to mosh pits.
Yeah.
Because then we started really like, oh, okay. We got pushed around a little bit. We're like, okay, this is what it's going to be like. And then we realized, like, after that, every concert we went to, we were either, like, in it or depending on what we had or who we had with us.
If you don't want to fall on your ass, you got to stand like this, or
Right.
you got to...
You got to do this. You got to lean that way, or
Right.
here they come. And we'd always protect the girls first, was always the
Right.
thing. But I remember there was a Mayhem Fest that we went to, and we were in, it was Fiddler's Green Amphitheater in Denver. And it had the grass, and it was kind of sloped up. And they used to do moshes on it all the time.
Yep.
And Ramsey, my brother, ran into the mosh pit because he loves them. And he has this long, crazy hair, so you can see it just going everywhere.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
there just kind of jumping around, hitting people, right? Well, I remember him going into one, and I see boom, 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 and he's gone. We were like, what the heck happened? And all of a sudden, he was behind us. We're like, what? And he looked at us, he goes, how did I end up behind you guys? We were like, what just happened? He was so, like, disoriented, and it was just happened so quick. But, God, those are so freaking fun, though.
Was that your favorite concert?
I have too many, actually. I can't pick out one single concert I liked more than others, but the artist I like, the two artists, I guess, I like seeing perform the most is Rob Zombie, because he always gives an amazing show.
I'll second that.
And had to been System, because that was a once, like, and I saw
You
this,
lucky man. Well, no, I remember you asking me, hey, dude, they're coming to town. This is probably like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Let's do it. And I just...
It's all good, but
It is.
that just, and it wasn't just because it was System. It was the fact that everything that happened, that it was the first show, big show I've ever went to by myself. So not only was I super nervous, I remember standing in line just being like, making sure, okay, I fill my wallet, I fill my keys, they're in these pockets, I
Yeah.
did everything Dad had taught us to do, and then I walked in there, and I remember just standing there, finding a spot, and they came on, we started jamming, and then people were like, so yeah, what, blah, 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 started talking, and then all of a sudden, all of us were like, we had been like friends forever. We're like together in the rain, singing each of the System
Like you
of
knew
Down
them forever,
songs.
huh?
Yeah, it was so cool, and it was that experience of it being so different than the regular ones where we go with like a group of friends. Because man, we went to so many of those Mayhem Fest with our group. I remember
Yeah.
we even dragged George along. We saw Dragon Force.
Hmm.
And she
I
ended
think
up
that was the
loving
first
them.
Mayhem concert I went to.
That was definitely her first.
Yeah.
Because she ended up loving Dragon Force and got the signature on her hat and everything. Remember?
Yeah. I do remember that. It was a lot of fun.
That was awesome. How do you got a favorite band you like listening to? CD or live?
Honestly, I like anything live. Like I love, like especially I love Denver atmosphere. Like music down there. Like you can literally find music in everywhere.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love
your
it.
dad sets up live shows.
Yeah,
right?
all around Texas, and he has all this, pretty. I don't want to brag, but he does have pretty like expensive sound equipment. He goes all around Texas, and he sets up and everything.
So is he like a
And-
sound engineer?
Yeah, he's a sound engineer. Yeah, this is a side job actually. So, yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to kind of learn how to do that because, like, that kind of makes or breaks the show sometimes. If it's good quality, like sound, or if it's crappy,
Yeah,
could really make the concert suck.
That and
Yeah.
the funny part about that too is that I can't remember what show it was, but we went to one where the sound was awful. I don't know if you remember or not. And then they got off a stage. They left the stage. They're like, nah, like we're trying to get this worked
That sounds
on.
familiar.
Right? And I can't remember which one it was though. But that kind of put it in perspective of like, oh, you know what? It's not just the performer. It's everybody. It's the whole
Right.
venue. It's everyone kind of doing that. And I really started to get an appreciation for all of that when we started doing a lot of our band stuff. We started off with virtually nothing. Really, we had like
Practice speakers.
the tiniest little practice
it.
amp you could have. Our
Yeah.
guitars were like minuscule. We had to like borrow a PA until finally we got that little cheapy $100 one,
Yeah.
which worked out. And then we started slowly upgrading. We did well, I don't think I told you that, but we did a festival, technically a festival at
PCC?
PCC, yeah. And we were like scrambling to get parts, like better parts, because the guy who was helping us record and stuff like that, he's like worked at the pawn shop. He's like, I have this amp and this cabinet for you. If you want to go pick it up, I'll have them put it aside under your name and the band name. Went to go pick it up. That's when I got my first head and I got my first cab. I was like, yes. But on the other end of that, we didn't have enough to get him one yet. So it was like, I had a cabinet, a half stack. He had his little practice amp still. We had to mic it up. And then I think Mike was our drummer then.
Yeah.
Mike had to just play as loud as he could on his drums because we couldn't mic him up because we didn't have any extra mics. And it was like we just made it work. But on the way down today, we were talking about our festival that we played, our metal one that was hosted by the
Sunshine Studio?
no, the one at here at Phil's Radiator. We were talking
Okay.
about the one that was run by the bass player from Kitty.
Oh, yes,
Remember that festival?
yeah.
That was, I told him, it's like, that by far was my favorite show we ever played because it was packed. And I remember we were playing and I was singing and people started moshing, and then all of a sudden it went slow motion. And I could see one guy get hit, and he was coming right, like almost like this mic is right in my face right now. I remember him getting hit, fell back. I'm like, this is gonna hurt. And he hit my mic and it went pow and hit me right in the face. And I remember I think I was in the middle of a solo or something like that. I just remember going, oh, this hurts. And I kept playing, and he broke the stand. I don't remember if you remember.
I didn't know he broke the stand. I just remember you like looking over and you were trying to get the stand to stand up and it wasn't working.
See, he broke because the way that stand worked, it wasn't just a plate on the bottom; it was the three legs, and he landed on one of the legs and cracked it.
Oh wow!
And what happened was this big dude he grabbed it and sat on it and kept this mic stand still for me, sitting on our
I
stage.
didn't know that. Holy
and
cow!
we kept going because we were playing.
That's awesome. It was Am I Evil? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we were playing Am I Evil, and everyone was singing along and doing that. And the guy sat there and he was jamming along, holding that mic stand. And we were playing. And we finally ended. And we're like, yeah, we got off. And I remember going like, my mouth hurts so bad.
Oh, man. The adrenaline at the time, though, you're just like, this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even think about stuff like that. Like, being a music performer, you feed off the crowd a lot. Like a lot of times when there's not really a crowd, like I remember some of those shows we went to and it wasn't really a crowd. It kind of like it puts a damp on the mood because you're like, man, like nobody's here to really listen. You just do your set and that's it. But like that night, that's probably my favorite performance too, where we played together. But having tons of people be there, and then I didn't think they would mosh because I don't think we play music that you mosh to really. But
it was heavy, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's heavy, but it wasn't. We didn't play the type of music that's familiar with this scene here in town. It was mostly a lot of like screaming and stuff like that, and you never really screamed. But
that, and I don't think I really could have.
But I
think
guess
if I would have tried, I think I would have hurt. Honestly.
But yeah, just when you play, I guess, a song that people know and recognize, they just get into it. And I think just the timing of when we played too, because we weren't the first band that went up, and we weren't the last one. Mm-hmm. We were like right in the center when everyone was there and packed, and just the cards lined up for us that night, and
everyone is already warmed up and ready and excited.
Had some booze in them and everything. So
that place was cool. I liked playing at Phil's because I was telling Jaime, and for anybody who doesn't know, Phil's Radiator was an old mechanic shop that got turned into a music venue, and it was mostly metal, but it was tiny. It was puny.
Yeah, it was a small venue, but
and
I don't
echoed
mind that.
A lot. Because it was just concrete. That's all it was.
Cement, yeah.
But when we had all those bodies in there, you could feel the heat. And when we played and sang, you didn't hear that echo. It just bounced off of everybody. And oh, man, it's like a killer moment. Like, sing along. I just remember telling them, you know it, sing along with us. And we started playing Am I Evil? And every single word that came out of my mouth came out of their mouths. And I just remember going like, what am I feeling right now? Holy crap. I have a sense of feeling in others. That's
the drug, man. That like performing drug. It just it gets you, and you're like, I could live in this state forever. You know, bliss.
That was something else. I'm so grateful we had a chance to do that. It was so cool, and all the bands were really cool, and even the host. I can't remember her name to save my life, but the bassist from Kitty, she was so cool. And she was like super chill and down to earth. She's like, yeah, guys, just hanging out and just chilling with everybody.
Yeah. We took a picture with her.
We did, yeah. I took a picture with her, and then it was, me, you, and Mike, and then I think Chad was there as our roadie.
Our roadie.
He was helping us with everything. Well, that's awesome, man. I miss doing that. I even miss practicing at, remember when we got the old little warehouse thing?
The dog? Yeah, that was so sketchy, but it was fun. It was a good time.
It was, we drive out there. It was super, super dark. You open this kind of broken lock full of weeds.
Yeah, it was like, I don't even know what it was. I want to say it was like used as a kennel for all the dogs.
I think they were old kennels.
And they foreclosed, or they stopped doing the dog races here in town. So they had these they looked like storage units is what it was.
I think that's what they were supposed to.
They didn't even outfit it with electricity. We had to bring a generator.
Jeez.
Yeah, to practice. And like thinking back on it now, I was like, I would never do that again.
We could have been murdered.
It was fun. Honestly, to this day, I don't even think the guy that rented us the spot was like the guy that did it. He was just some random guy that was like, yeah, I'll, for $50 a month, I'll let you borrow this storage.
That's what it was, and he had us send the money to this address. Yeah, it was super sketchy.
Don't forget, we were kind of dumb when we were younger.
It was still high school. It was still high school, wasn't it? Or was that after?
I think it was just shortly after.
So we had to mail the money to this address, right? He gave us the key, and it worked on the door. So we had to mail the money, and then we just stopped paying.
That's right.
We just straight up stopped paying, and me and Mike were just like, "Well, do we risk it? I mean, we have the key." He was like, yeah, and we don't leave any of our stuff there anyway. We packed it up every single night. That was literally all it was, is that we opened the door, we hooked up our stuff, we played, we packed it up, we left. That was it. I'm like, okay. We're like, screw it. We stopped paying. And then so we were just like, well, all they're going to do is change the lock. If we know we can't get in, then that's it. And we got in every single time.
If he hears this, he's going to come after you guys.
Yeah, totally.
That's not even the worst we've done. Do I even dare?
Yeah, say it.
Mike, I don't remember. He had a storage unit in a town, I'll say, about 5 minutes from where we are. We wanted to practice one night, and he lost his key. I don't remember. He lost his key, or he didn't pay on his storage unit, and he couldn't get in. So I'd say about 10 o'clock at night. His drums were locked in there. That should be the important part. We actually broke the gate to the storage place to get in. I'm not gonna say how we did it. We're just gonna say we were able to let's just say disassemble it and then reassemble it after we were done, so it didn't look like we were ever there.
Yep.
But we got in, and
did we practice that night there too? Or did we
not
just get
there.
his stuff?
No, I think it's just the stuff was there. We never practiced there, I don't think. Yeah, I got his stuff, and I don't know if we were just so, because it took us a while to get in there. But
that took us a minute.
It's a blur after that. All I know is that no cops ever came, nothing like that.
We was like set up because it was like me, him, our drummer, our roadie, and we were just like looking out and like, all right, cool. And then we started getting into there. We got all of his stuff out. We took off. We're like, what did we just do? And we're like, holy crap!
I don't recommend that to anybody listening to this. Please do not try this at home, please.
But we got the stuff back and we played, and dude, we played a lot of shows, especially towards like the end, right before we like really stopped playing. Because we did a lot at Sunshine.
Yeah, what was our last show? I think a Sunshine show was our last one.
Yeah. It was, man, that was fun. We met so many good people too, and so many cool bands, and I think one of our last shows was with I can't remember their name. There was that cover band.
Oh.
No, it was the cover band, all-girl cover band.
I think I have video of them somewhere.
I can't remember
old video footage of them.
I can't remember their name, but they were so awesome. And they played like AC/DC. They played all kinds of cool songs. And we went on after them. We were just kind of talking with them. They were awesome. And then the other show we played was when we opened for Hurt. And we were like, we're opening for an actual band.
Yeah.
Like a real band.
That was kind of crazy.
That was so surreal. Because they were like, oh, yeah, you can go into the green room or whatever. And we're like, is a green room.
Oh gosh.
We're just like, oh, that's the backstage. Oh, and there was an actual room. We were like, what are we doing here? And it was just chilling. We're like too excited. We even took pictures every single time we take pictures of us. Like, look at the stage. Like we were just slow. Like,
yeah, it was just awestruck kind of. Not to say like you're really hyping us up. Like we're like total like awesome. I think we're good, but we weren't like a label good. Like that's what it sounds like. Oh yeah, we opened for her, and
it was just lucky.
Yeah, we just
got real lucky.
We caught some lucky breaks, and we're able to.
And in my head, we were.
But yeah, no, don't let me rain on your parade. I'm just saying, don't let your head get too big.
I won't fit in these headphones anymore.
It's true. I mean, that's what it's all about, though. Like the music scene, like what it does to people. Like
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was awesome. It was really cool, and it's. Even I have a bunch of buddies now that work in the music industry. Like some of them help run the doors and the venues or the doors to some of the venues, stuff like that. And they get to see a bunch of cool bands come through, and they're just like, man, some of these ones are just like, why do you gotta act like that? Like, you have two people here like us. You'd have like 2 people show up or whatever. But then there's some like my other buddy who's a DJ and he'll play sets and stuff. And he was just excited because he's like, I finally have video. And remember when we first got our first like outside look of us?
Like our first recording of us playing.
We think we were playing at the church still.
Yeah.
And I think it was F Word who recorded us.
Was it him? You're talking about the Church of Rock, right?
Yeah. Well, before we had the actual chapel itself, we had that room downstairs in the big church. Remember? We played down there.
Oh yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, we were. I think this is before we even formed a band. We were like in the process of forming a band. Me, you, Robin, and I don't even think Megan was.
Was that Justice?
Part of it. No. So Megan was first, and then I always feel bad because we kicked her out. Like that was such a dick move. For me at least, I think thinking back, like we wanted to be good. And it was like the point we wanted to be so good that we wanted to kick our friend out who we didn't think was very good. Even though we're like best friends, you know.
We were best friends, and we weren't that good. We were just
Right,
like, we want
yeah.
to get to
It's
that
not
next
like
level.
she
We're
was
like,
holding us back or anything. It's
it was
just like
just us being dumb.
we knew a better drummer. We're like, oh man, just think how much better we'll sound if we have him. And it didn't be the case, you know. But anyways, Megan was first. We called her George, and then came Justice, who we kind of developed some of I think our songs.
Our original ones, our first like 3.
Yeah, and then after Justice, it was Mike.
And then we taught him the first 3. And then he put his own little twist on it. And then we developed more songs after that and started doing more shows. But
How many songs do we have?
I want to say we have like 8.
I think it's
7 or
like
8.
10.
Do we have more than that? Are you counting like Delphinium and like?
Yeah,
Wait-
because that definitely counts.
Yeah. Okay,
And
maybe we
then
have 10
the
then.
stuff that we did, like the later stuff, I can't remember the names of.
Yeah, me either. I can't even remember how to play half of them.
Yeah, but
But
something about playing music, it's cool.
it's cool.
Um,
it's fine. It's whatever.
I don't really know what else to say. Like I can't really explain it. You have to be a part of it
Yeah, you have to
yourself
experience,
to understand. I think.
And
I
of
mean, I
course-
could explain it, but it's not the same. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that go into it, like, because you could be, there's people that are just like awesome guitarists, but all they do is play it by themselves, and that's cool. I mean, you could be a performer. There's a lot of performers that do that. And then you playing in a band or a group or whatever, there's something different there. And then it's different than if you're like a solo singing artist too, you know?
Yeah. I think it was the cool part was just like we were in high school and we're like, it was like the thing. High school,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we got a band. Cool. Come watch us play. All right. 2 people will show up, maybe.
I think for me at the time, because I was already in a mariachi, like I had already had that feeling. But for me to play with like my best friends and everything, that was the major reason for me playing in the band. You know, because
Yeah.
not that I didn't, you know, not to say, oh, I don't need them, but I had already something going on at the time. And
Yeah.
this was like a 180 of what I was playing.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's cool.
Absolutely.
It's cool. That's
And
my
it's-
my tag.
It's
I
cool.
guess.
Hashtag it's cool. It was awesome. My favorite moment was with me, you, and George in her Jeep. We'd go flying down the boulevard, singing Jet
Oh yeah.
and Little Piece of Heaven with the Vince Sevenfold. And me and Jen were listening to that song
Holy cow.
the other day, and we're like, yeah, Brandon used to sing the girl parts of this song all the time. And then George was singing the real deep, like
Yeah.
the priest part of it when they were getting married in the song and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff like that. It's like those were so fun. Like those days were awesome. I still have pictures of all of us like not dying in the cars.
Right. Megan, if you're listening out there, I just want to say I'm sorry for being such a dick.
We're dicks.
Yeah.
I'm a
But,
dick. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're amazing. But those were good times. Those are really good times. Those are some of my favorite memories, for sure. But damn.
Getting sentimental here. Jeez.
But it did bring out a lot of emotion
It did.
because we were dumb. We were really dumb, and that's what is funny. Is that I see it with like even my coworkers, and they're like, "Oh, I got the show. I got to do this thing," and he's so young still, and so he's
Yeah.
like in that same mode. And I see him doing the same things, kind of like we did. Like, we got the show. We can do the show. Like, oh my gosh, and like getting super hyped, and then him seeing his first like video of himself. And I'm like, I know that feeling, man. Like, that's awesome.
Right.
And so whenever he talks to me about music and stuff, I just like, this is cool. Enjoy it. Like, love it. Because
Right.
if it doesn't last, then it doesn't last. But at least you have those memories. 'Cause that's what I feel.
Yeah.
But if
Absolutely.
it does last, great.
Yeah.
Keep going. But, yeah, it is a little sentimental because
Have you,
We made
Jaime? I'm
crazy
sorry, I
things.
don't mean to
You're
cut
good.
you off, but you said you played drums.
Yeah.
Were you ever part of like a band, or was it like something you did with school? Like, were you in a marching band and played drums?
I started in marching band. I literally just watched my brother play because he plays just about everything you can imagine. Like he
So
picks
your
up-
brother's a musician.
Oh yeah, all around musician.
Drummer as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, I just watched him play. Started in the marching band and whatnot, and then of course started playing youth group in church and whatnot. Growing up, I still am not great to be in a band. I don't really like to put
So
myself
you're
out
kind of
there.
like a casual drummer.
Just a casual.
Not to
nothing,
like downplay you or
yeah,
anything.
no. I totally accept that. Like I'm just casual. I just if you need a drummer, I'll fill in, but I'm not gonna do the extra crazy stuff.
But you might have felt it still though, like with your youth group.
Oh yeah. Especially
Playing with other people. I don't know how to explain the feeling, but like that person's played. Like I don't really know how to explain it, but like it's almost like a connection between.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if you're not friends.
Yeah.
Like okay, here's a story real quick. I had a chance to play mariachi music in Austria, in Europe.
Wow.
So I took the chance, went over there with some friends. We stood at this hotel. It was for a music festival, and we run across these people. There's like 50 people in this lobby, and it's a small little lobby. And to me, it sounds like they're speaking Russian. It's like, oh, who are these like Russian people? They're just loud and whatever. Like 30 minutes later, I go back to my room. One of my I don't know why I'm calling them coworkers. One of my bandmates, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
They knock on my door. I'm like, hey, bring your guitarrón and come to the lobby. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just like, no, don't worry about it. Just come, bring it and come to the lobby. And as I'm walking down there, I hear like this music, but I don't recognize it. It's like an accordion and like a trumpet and like a stand-up bass.
Yeah.
And it was those people I thought who were Russian. They're from Serbia that were part of the music festival. And like it kind of blew me back, like, oh wow, these guys play music, and that's they're gonna play a song, then we're gonna play a song. So they played, then we played, and then like we started like to try to play together, and it was just crazy. Like I can't talk to these people at all. I don't know their language, but
With
we
music.
kind of were on the same,
Still musicians.
universal language, I think is what they like to call it.
Yep. It is.
But it was awesome.
It
I
really
thought it
is.
was cool. We became friends after that.
Yeah.
And, that also goes to show don't ever judge a book by its cover.
It's true.
Which you did multiple times in that story.
But yeah, they were awesome, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'm pretty.
you can keep a beat, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you've got half of drums down.
But I think like you asking me that question, like now thinking about it, it was like, yeah, I did have those moments, but now I really don't think about them anymore. Like it's just kind of.
Yeah, maybe it's not something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do remember them, but it's just like I don't think about that consciously. Like I do remember those. That was cool. Kind of thing. I mean, it does. Now that I'm thinking about it, I have a lot of great memories, but like, I don't know. Like,
Well, I think
it's been a while since I've played.
It affects everyone differently.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played.
Especially for me now, like I don't play like electric bass anymore. We haven't played in a long time, but you text me like about a week or two ago. You're like, dude, I miss making music with you. That was so much fun, And I was like, man, it was a lot of fun. And for me, I always have this thought in my head, like if I don't pick up my guitarrón or play anything for a long time, I'm always afraid, man, I'm gonna forget how to play.
Use it or lose it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I always think that.
And to an extent, it is kind of like that. But as soon as you pick it up, it's like riding a bike. Muscle memory just kind of kicks in.
Yeah.
That's what I feel with the guitar. That's why I have my classical up there with me.
Yeah.
So I get that moment where I'm just like, I'll watch something like Coco. I'll watch Coco and I'll be like, I need to play my guitar. Like, oh my gosh. Or even watching Bohemian Rhapsody, I'm like, I need to freaking play my guitar. I finished watching that. I think that's when I texted you about it. Jen was just like, you should just text him. Like, it's just, that's something you guys did forever. And like, it was just.
Yeah, that's the same. Like, I'm like, man, I remember these days. I used to have this talk with my sister. Like, she played with us in the mariachi. And like, I used to always have these talks with her, like, man, remember this back in the day? Remember this? And she would always say, like, oh, those were like the good days. And I'd always tell her, like, this doesn't have to be the end of it. It just has to change. We might have lives now, like that don't revolve around music, but you could still make it a part if you want to.
And the cool thing about pretty much everything that you just said, plus like the influences that music has on not only a culture but everything in general, is that it affects us and how we live our lives. Music is a part of our lives. You have a new nephew now who is barely even like comprehending what music is,
Right.
let alone once he gets old enough, you and your sister both gonna be like, cool, hey, let's do this.
Right.
Jen has the 3 boys and they all want to play instruments. I'm like, I can't even wait. I can't even begin
Right.
to imagine. Like, it's just the next step of us playing. Like, not only are we showing them this, because they always like already like Rock Band and Guitar Hero, they love that stuff already. They just don't know the real one yet, and they want to. It's there.
I just think that's the reach of music, because music, you don't consciously think about it all the time, you know,
Yeah.
but you hear a song on the radio and you're like, man, I love this song.
Oh, yeah.
It changes your mood without even really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you think, you know, you hear another song and you're like, man, that reminds me of this person or this time in my life. So
Yeah.
I mean, they even use a lot of music as like therapy sometimes, you know.
And it works.
Yeah, I watched this video on YouTube of this guy had to be like in his 80s, 90s, and I don't know if he suffered from dementia or some sort of memory loss, where he just kind of like would sit in his wheelchair and just not move, like he wouldn't even respond to like if people talked to him. But as soon as they like put on headphones for him, I don't know if you saw the video. It's kind of interesting, but they played some music for him that he used to listen to back in, you know, whenever, and he would start to actually like be animated, like, and sing along to the song. And then you could take the headphones off, and for like a brief moment, you can actually talk to him and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, you know, that just fired off whatever neurons in his brain.
Yeah, I've actually seen videos like that where, like, you know, you find an old person that has dementia or something like that, and they'll be playing along. I've seen a video where I think like some people with instruments come in and they're playing some jazz, and, you know, the guy with dementia, he's, you know, playing along with the piano and whatnot, just having a grand old time, smiling and everything. And I've actually seen that firsthand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've seen. I've been to, like, I guess a group of people who had dementia, and I knew a lady who, you know, kind of took care of him, kind of thing. And she was like, "You want to hear?" I forgot her name, but do you want to hear so and so play piano? I was like, "Oh, yeah." She played amazing. Like she can barely hold a conversation, but
Wow.
she knew how to play that thing frontwards, backwards, upside down. Like,
Right.
it's crazy.
Music
just
is
like,
magical.
Yeah, it's like
It can
threaded.
do so many things. Like the fact that you can use music in a therapy session to help break through, like, for example, dementia, even for a moment in time. It's amazing. And something like that too, not necessarily with dementia, but just seeing the effect of music on someone else. That my girlfriend's grandfather is a guitar player, a really good one too. He used to tour with Willie Nelson and
Wow.
like big name country stars like that, right? He used to be a guitar for hire, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't too long ago that we were at an event for her mom, and they requested a song from the DJ, which was one of the songs that he had helped write, that Willie Nelson had played and became, and it became this huge song and stuff. And it just broke. He just broke down, just like all the emotions ran into it, because as soon as he heard it, he knew exactly what it was. And
Oh, yeah.
he didn't have to say a single word.
Exactly.
It was just that he could feel it, because he's a guitar player forever.
It's like an intro to a song, man.
Right.
You know.
I love having conversations with him too about when he used to play, or memories and that kind of stuff. And I remember we were sitting there talking, and we just started talking about guitars. That's all it was. I was like, well, what was your favorite? What was your favorite brand or model, or what did you love, and how did it come to be, and how did you get it? And he was telling me stories, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's this guy, and he was selling this Gibson, or he was selling this Fender, and so I got this Fender. He's like, I really don't like Fender. Because then I got a Gibson and realized, like, this is where my home is as far as the instruments go. And he told me the story, where it ended up, who ended up having it, like that kind of stuff. But then it was like a couple days later, my girlfriend texts me. She goes, my grandpa really wanted to know, like, how did you know all this stuff about instruments and music? I was like, oh, I'm a musician. And he didn't know that right off the bat. And So we told her grandma, and she relayed the message to him, and he just kind of like, oh, like, I didn't know that. So that conversation was just like, that connection that we made was just more impactful, because it's like, oh, like it felt almost like, I can only imagine it to him as like, I was just kind of like, oh yeah, cool, like whatever. But then I started getting more in depth, like, oh, this is what I have, or this is what I used, or this is the style I play, that kind of stuff like that, and started getting more technical with him. And he's like, oh, okay, he kind of knows a little bit of his
showing
stuff.
your music muscle a little bit.
Just a little,
some.
and I'd never wanted to like disrespect him at all ever. It was just really cool. Like, we had a really good moment, because he's an old school serious guy, and we talked something that he really loved.
His serious wall just a little bit with some music.
I just kind of peeked through, just looking at it, because I always knew he was a musician. He has this talent beyond talent, and I can see it in him, and he's afraid to lose it. Because eventually it happens to all of us.
It's true.
Eventually.
Well, they say that's kind of one of the things that can combat like Alzheimer's, is learning something like an instrument or like puzzles and stuff. But I think that's kind of cool.
The Motley Crue guitar player is one that comes to mind when you say something like that. He has the crazy, like, I forgot what it's called, but his spine curls up. And so, like, when they used to play, like, they'd be all over the stage like bands normally are, like, giving a show, right? It came to the point where even, like, his most, like, whatever show that was, I can't remember which one I watched him at, but his hands, boom, he's playing that guitar like nobody else, right? But he doesn't move. He can't. It's just hard for him to move, but you can tell, like, he's just jamming on that guitar, too. And so it's just, it's crazy. It's sad and humbling both at the same time, that something so,
even with your old age, you're still rocking out.
Yeah, as long as you keep up with it. That's, like you said earlier, I'm afraid of losing it, and it's always something will always spark my interest back into it, and realize, like, oh, like, it'll hit me, like, I haven't played in a while, I need to play, like, I really need to play. And then I'll just start playing everything I possibly can. Like, Coco came out, and, like, all I wanted to do was play mariachi, everything style, all that style. Flamenco.
These last 3 years, I think, have been the hardest for me, just because I started traveling for work across the country, and I didn't really practice at all in those 3 years. I mean, I picked up when I had a gig or something, but I didn't really sit down to play, or music wasn't a big part of it at that point.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not traveling and I'm kind of stationary for the time being, I was glad I was able to at least pick up something and kind of get back into it.
Yeah. Even, like, I always find a revitalization in my joy for music when I see live stuff, like the Disturbed and 3 Days Grace concert I just saw. Like, I'm okay, got the tickets, so I'm excited. And then it's like the week of, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited. Then it's the day of, I'm like, okay, I'm excited. And then I'm sitting in the seat waiting for them to start. I'm like, okay, I'm excited. And then the lights turn off, and they're about to go on. I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited. Like, it just that build up, and then they're playing, and everybody's singing. And like we were talking even before the show, like, I'm so grateful that I have this awesome camera that I can capture that from the show itself, because a lot of the times, like, you're there and you're like, I want a piece of this to come home with me, not just like merch, but like a piece of what's actually happening, like the show itself. Right. And I got some really good footage off it, but the fact that I was able to be there for two bands that I love, especially Disturbed, because we've gone to countless Disturbed shows
so many times,
and they always give a great show. But I had Jen there. It's the first time she ever seen 3 Days Grace. She'd never seen him.
Wow.
Ever. And I'm like, I was joking with her at first. I'm like, well, what time do you want to know about? And I started naming the couple times that we'd seen him, because we've seen him multiple times as well.
Yeah, I think
we've seen him at least twice.
Once at a Mayhem festival, they might have been.
So I think I've seen them twice. I don't remember which ones they were, but I was kind of joking with her about it, and she was like, whatever, I don't care. I haven't seen them, but it was just cool to be able to take her, and her excitement made me more excited, because she's like, oh my God, I got to see them finally. And like, and as much as we joke around with the girls about them seeing like people who they want to see, like the Backstreet Boys, for example, like, I just like seeing them excited about music.
Right.
regardless of the
Right.
form of music.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Is you don't have to be a musician to enjoy music.
Mm-hmm.
I think like I don't know anybody that doesn't enjoy music. You know, like anyone that says like I hate broccoli or whatever. You never hear anyone say, "Oh, I hate music,"
Yeah.
because it's so broad and just.
Unless you're watching Coco.
Okay, I mean,
Kidding. They came around after
that's
all.
a cartoon, but even then, yeah.
But you know, that's actually a good example, though. That intro scene of no music, and she says it everywhere, and how many aspects
Of where
she considered music.
is around.
He was just whistling into a bottle, and it was a note.
Yep.
So she considered it music and took it away from him. Right? The guys were singing drunk, they were singing La Llorona in that scene too.
Right.
And it's just like every aspect, even like just the pizza truck driving by. Just that split little second, she's like slams the doors. Like how many different aspects of music, even if we were like tapping our feet, like me and you were jamming out. We had 4-hour drive. Like, we had
talk about that.
sorry, but we had a good playlist though. Like
Yeah.
and it was such a vast. Like I love that playlist because it's everything I like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I like the way this sounds. I'm gonna throw it in the playlist.
Yeah.
And I don't even know who the band is or whatever.
Yeah.
But that whole entire time, it mixed up so nicely that we weren't bored with it.
Yeah.
We were constantly just like kind of humming it,
Yeah,
singing it,
or
or
like
tapping
tapping,
around,
yeah.
or doing something with it. Like everything has a rhythm or something to do with it. And
Yeah, I think that's just life. Everything has a rhythm. Like even, I don't know, you're on the walking downtown. You can probably make a rhythm out of this, just the sounds you hear.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I constantly think I have a
And just
background song
subconsciously,
in my head anyway when I'm walking.
like subconsciously, it just happens.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
It's awesome. It's amazing. Well, I think we can cut it there. Thank you so much for
Yeah, thank you
Being
guys
on the
for letting me be on this again. I appreciate it, and
absolutely. And
thanks for enduring your grueling 4-hour drive to get to me. I appreciate it.
It's awesome, and we definitely want to have you on again because it's just the whole point of this is just to have that intellectual conversation about whatever topic we want to talk about, and bring even like just the examples of everything, especially with music and this topic and stuff. It's just awesome, and I'm glad we can get it out there because maybe somebody is feeling like they're the only person who like, I feel like this, but I don't know if other people feel this way or express it or whatever.
Right.
And that's just kind of what we're just like doing and want to get out there. So
Yeah, absolutely.
But thanks again.
Yeah, and if anyone is curious of like my younger kind of mariachi days, you can go on YouTube /Herrera101 and check out. I think I have some older videos on there.
Awesome, cool.
But,
We'll throw it on the screen for you guys too, and throw it in the description.
Appreciate it.
Just want to follow it out there, but yeah, thanks, man. We appreciate it, and check us out next time on our next episode on Thoughts on Thoughts. And I'm your host, Cruz, our producer Jaime. Thank you again, bud.
Yes,
It's
sir.
always a
yeah.
pleasure to work
It's
with
always
you.
fun,
and
man. It's fun.
This is what it is. But thank you so much to our guest, Brandon. We appreciate you and all your input, insight, and thoughts.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.